All right. Welcome to Basement Movie Room. We're back with our Last of Us Episode 4 discussion. This is A Click in the Dark if you're listening to the podcast. And so, yeah.
Sorry, kind of moved the table.
You moved the table a little bit. That's okay. So we are here to discuss Last of Us Episode 4. You can find us on YouTube at youtube.com/@basementmovieroom, on Twitch at twitch.tv/basementmovieroom, on Twitter at movie_basement, although I never really post there. And we also have a Patreon page. You can just search for Basement Movie Room on Patreon. Nobody's a patron yet, but you can be the first and be our best friend.
Be the first.
Yes, you can be our new best friend.
Please.
All right, so let's get...
Why won't you just be our friends?
Just give the boy a friend.
Give the boys a friend.
All right, so let's get started with the episode. Okay, as usual, we're going to start out. What do you think of the episode?
It was a really good episode. I think it's one that everybody's been kind of expecting. Start to see the relationship build between Joel and Ellie, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
See that progress.
Yeah. We have some changes from the game.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't mind the changes. The changes don't really make any difference for the game. They change a location, which we'll talk about, but the changes don't really make a big difference. It's a good action-y episode. Some action at the start action's kind of at the start, I guess, to get the kind of story moving forward in what would be Pittsburgh in the game, and it's a different town here. We'll just talk about. So. Yeah, good episode. I really liked it. My wife texted me and said she watched it, and she said the last episode was a 10 and this one's a 5.
Oh!
I had a feeling that was going to be the case.
Okay.
Because this is more what the show's going to be rather than last episode.
A little slower.
A side story. Yeah. All right, so I guess if that's it, we'll get right into the episode. The episode opens up with Ellie looking in a mirror and playing with her gun that she found, Frank's gun from Bill and Frank's house. She's pointing it in the mirror, and she racks the shell out, which I found some disturbing sound design in this part.
Yeah.
Because when she racks the shell out, it's a live shell, and it hits the ground, you hear that ding, 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 meaning it would be an empty shell bouncing around, but it's a live shell. It would have been more thud, but you know what? I'm not going to hold it against them. It happens. So she's doing...
That was a nice little pickup.
Yeah, there. Yeah. I was like, that didn't sound right. That didn't sound right. So... in any case, she knows how to use the gun. She seems to know how to use it. She knows how to pull the magazine out. She knows how to reload it and things like that. So kind of nice to see. She stuffs it back in her bag and goes out. And she goes outside. They're at a gas station somewhere on the road. And there's no indication of where they are. Assumingly rural Illinois or maybe rural Missouri or rural Illinois based on where they are.
Right.
Yeah, of course, we're in Missouri. We're in St. Louis side of Missouri. So... Joel's siphoning some gas out of a car, and they do make a little comment that makes it a little better that he's siphoning gas out of a car that's probably been sitting there for 20 years. He says that the gas is not really good anymore. It's almost like water. It takes a lot more gas to go places. He says, like before, we would be able to drive like 300 miles on a tank, but now it's not as far. They have to keep getting gas. So there's a nice little explanation kind of picking up on some things that people might complain about. So... yeah. So anything on those scenes?
I like how they're all about details with this show.
Yeah, they pick up on.
I mean, they really explain like certain things, like the gas, and with them driving down a wide open road with vehicles that are on the sides. They explain how, they kind of cleared that area so the tanks,
big trucks with snow plows,
everything can get through there. I really like that about this world.
Right. Yeah. No, it's a cool little detail. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's a good little scene. Some minor world building, some minor explanation, but just more to get Ellie and Joel talking. Mm-hmm. Joel's siphoning gas in a very cool way. He's using like a tube siphon to get the gas out, and so from there they hop back in the truck. Joel fills the truck up, assumingly, and they hop back in the truck and they're driving. And Ellie's in the back seat, and she finds a tape. And it's Hank Williams, so Joel pops it in. He says, "This is even before my time." And then he pops it in, and they start listening to Hank Williams, and Ellie's digging around more in the back of the truck and pulls out a a male nude magazine in which she opens it up and says, "Oh, how does he even walk around with that thing?" It's hilarious. And why are the pages sticking together? Of course, it was a joke.
Yeah.
A joke from Ellie. So she throws it out the window.
Lots of jokes from Ellie.
A lot of jokes.
This
yeah.
episode.
She has a pun book, which is full of terrible pun and bad jokes.
Basically dad jokes.
Yeah, she throws the porn magazine out the window. I guess she didn't have any need for it at this point. So, and they keep driving. So yeah, that was some of that is part of where he explains that they push the cars off the highway and stuff that we were talking about. But we get the Hank Williams song kind of playing as they drive along, and kind of a nice little wide shot of them driving and of the country that they're driving through, which is all very rural country. Like I said, it's probably either Illinois or Missouri somewhere that they're driving through. It could be farther out. I don't know. The timeline's not.
So are we getting an artist per episode? Hank Williams this episode,
Linda Ronstadt
last episode.
Yeah,
I don't remember the first two.
Yeah,
I'm sure there's something though.
We had Depeche Mode at the end of episode 2, I believe. Yeah, Depeche Mode was at the end of episode 2. So yeah, lots of different things we're getting. So that's that. They pull off the road at some point in the woods because Joel's tired of driving, so they pull off the road and Joel drives way off the road into some woods so they can rest. They have a little dinner of the finest Italian food, Chef Boyardee ravioli.
Yes.
So, and Ellie's like, "Oh, this is like the best thing I've ever had." And Joel's like, I kind of agree with you.
20-year-old ravioli.
20-year-old Boyardee, man. Mm-hmm. It's quality at that point.
It's the new Twinkie.
You get your meat, your pasta. It's a quality meal, of course. So Joel explains that they're going to sleep here and they're going to sleep outside, and that he's going to get a lot of sleep so he can just drive like the 20-something hours that they got to drive straight to Wyoming the next day. Ellie's not real keen on this. She's worried. She's like, "What about infected?" And Joel's realized there's not a lot of infected out here. There wasn't, assuming that it's not a population area, so most infected wouldn't be in this area. They would be more in the cities. There could be one, but I think it's not as big a danger. And Joel says the bigger thing to worry about is people. And Ellie's like, "Well, are there people out here?" And Joel goes, "No, I don't think we have to worry about it." So they both lay down to go to sleep. Joel can tell Ellie's scared, but he says, "We're going to sleep. It's fine." But Joel doesn't sleep.
Yeah.
You get a shot of him with Ellie asleep and him standing guard. So there's no sleep for Joel, which is reasonable for a person in his position, for sure.
And that's kind of the whole part of the show, too, is it's not really so much about the infected. It's more the people are the biggest threats out there.
And that's somewhat what Walking Dead did too, but they
they got to that point.
They did that with the governor and all in the Walking Dead, but they certainly do it better here, in my opinion. At least so far they have. So after that, they wake up we get the joke. We get Ellie's joke that Joel nails because he already knows the joke. It's something about a scarecrow getting an award, and Joel goes, "It's because he's outstanding in his field." Yeah. And Ellie's like, "You bastard," Underworld and Matchstick Man on the marquee there. We're farther on the episode of Skyline TV. We had Underworld and Matchstick Man. Nicolas Cage making an appearance in Less Than Us.
Oh my God! If he shows up in the show, that would be the highlight for me. Yeah.
Stay tuned for a likely review of The Old Way that we'll finally get done.
Do you notice how clean that S10 is?
That S10
it is pristine.
Immaculate. Bill took well care of his S10. He liked his S10. So Joel can't sleep. He stands guard. They get back on the road the next morning. Ellie's looking at the map. Looks like they got about 25 hours to go to Wyoming. And they talk about Tommy, and Joel's like, Tommy was a joiner. He always wanted to be a hero. So he joined the army right out of college, got sent off to Desert Storm, a war that didn't matter, is what Joel said. And then they talk about him, he dragged Joel to Boston because they joined up with a group going to Boston. So that's how Joel got to Boston. And then Tommy wants to save the world and join the Fireflies, but he quit that too. And now he's in Wyoming doing something else. So Joel, I think Tommy was another one Joel felt he needed to take care of just like all the rest of the characters in this show. And I think that's just why he needs to get to Tommy. He thinks he needs to take care of everybody, and he doesn't realize he's not that good at it so far, honestly. But that's why he's devoting it to Ellie. I think at this point he knows he has to.
He's taken care of is either gone or dead.
Yeah, they're not around anymore.
Yeah.
So where they ultimately end up is Kansas City. That's our replacement for Pittsburgh, which makes sense. I mean, you had them on the road for a while. Pittsburgh's pretty close to Boston, so they wouldn't have got very far in the game. So putting them in Kansas City means they made it a significant amount of time. It's probably a 13-hour drive, 14-hour drive probably that they've made at that point. I'd say, at least for sure. So they get into Kansas City and they come up upon a roadblock on I-35. I believe it showed I-35 in Kansas City. So Joel's like, we're going to turn around and we're going to take the side roads to get around this. So they do that. They get off the interstate and they're going down some main streets. They pass by the Fedra quarantine zone in Kansas City, which is wide open and gone. It's done at this point. And so Ellie and Joel continue driving, and they run across this alleyway where this guy's yelling for help. Joel knows this is a trap. He says, and Ellie's like, "Are we going to help him?" And Joel's like, "No." And he's like, "Put your seatbelt on." So they start driving. Other guys start attacking the vehicle, throwing things on it, shooting at him. And he hits a tack strip, and it blows the tires out, and he crashes into a laundromat where a gunfight ensues. Joel shoots one guy outside, and it's like they're shooting at him, and this just made me laugh. The one guy that didn't get shot goes, "You motherfucker!" It's like, what did you expect, man? You're in a gunfight. You're trying to kill these guys. Come on. So it was just hilarious to me. So Joel takes out both the guys, and then he's looking around and gets taken. He tells Ellie to get in this other room, like through this small hole in the wall that he couldn't fit through. And Joel's walking away from the gunfight after killing the guys, and another guy comes up on Joel and takes him from behind, knocks him down, and starts choking him. Ellie crawls out of the hole, gets her gun out, and shoots the guy in the back. The guy falls off Joel, still alive. Says he can't walk, and he starts trying to make friends. He's like, "Oh, my name's Billy, and we could be friends. I'll take you back. We're gonna be fine."
He's saying he wants his mom.
Yeah,
stuff
he wants to see his mom. It's all manipulation and probably serious from the guy, to be honest. I mean, he's dying. So Ellie's pointing the gun. She's kind of freaked out about what she did. She looks freaked out, at least. And Joel gets up, takes the gun from her, and tells her to go back in the room. Takes a knife. The guy gives him a knife. Says, "You can have my knife." And you hear the sound of Joel killing the guy with the knife. And it's like, ooh, rough sound to hear.
I guess save the bullets.
It does save a bullet. Keeps the sound down now, since there may be more guys coming. So yeah, that's kind of where we'll cut and talk about that. Do you have any?
Yeah, no, this really showcases why Joel is still alive and why he's so kind of feared or respected. I mean, he just destroyed 3 guys.
Yeah.
With the help of Ellie on the third, but I think he might have gotten the upper hand anyway. But
he might have. The guy was a lot smaller than him. A little skinny guy, basically. So Joel may have ultimately taken him, but Ellie took care of it. And the way Ellie had the gun, it was dangerous for Joel, man, when she shot the guy. She shot the guy in the lower back, ultimately, and Joel's like not too far below that because the guy's on top of him. So, yeah.
Could have went through him and
hit Joel. Yeah, could have hit Joel, but everything's okay. It didn't happen.
Yeah, I guess she shot him in the butt or the lower back.
I think because he says he can't walk, so I think it's like the lower back and his spine and his lower back. He said he can't feel his legs, so he's clearly paralyzed. The guy wasn't going to make it no matter what. So Ellie's back in the other room. She opens the door for Joel, moves the desk out of the way, and then they move it right back in the way when he gets in there. And excuse me. So from that scene, Joel asks Ellie if she's okay, and Ellie's like, "Oh yeah, I'm fine. I'm good." And they get moving, and then we flash over to the group they're fighting against, essentially. As Joel and Ellie kind of are moving along, we flash over to Melanie Lynskey playing, assumingly the leader of this Kansas City group. And she's got they're in a Fedra prison facility, it looks like. And she's got an older man who's very familiar looking. I couldn't place him per se. You couldn't either. But he's familiar looking.
He's been in some sitcoms.
He's definitely been in a bunch of stuff.
He's familiar.
Yeah. So she's got him, and she's interrogating him. He says he's a doctor. He says he delivered her, so he knows her. He was a OBGYN, assumingly. And he's like, I held you in my arms. And she's like, did you think about that when you were, like giving names and things like that? And because she's trying to get revenge for her brother, apparently. And she's looking for a man named Henry. Because Henry is apparently the guy who gave up her brother, or at least she believes he did. So she does this interrogation, walks back out, finds out that 3 of the men have been killed, the ones that Joel and Ellie killed. And she is angry about that, walks back in, shoots the doctor, and kills him.
Right.
So she's done with him.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny because, like, the one guy, they're like, oh, he's not going to make it, but he's still alive. He might, they may have been able to help him out. I thought she was going in there to get the doctor to bring him out, and she just goes in there and blows his brains out.
Yeah, the one guy said he's not going to. The doctor wouldn't help at this point. So, but yeah, she just kills him. He's no more use to her.
You think you kind of need a doctor?
Yeah.
In these times, but I guess we'll find out more. In upcoming.
Apparently not.
Episode.
Apparently not that doctor.
No.
Yeah, but that guy is so familiar looking.
Yeah. It seems like he's been in 80s or 90s sitcoms.
Yeah, he's been in a lot of things. I know I've seen him before. All right, so Ellie and Joel are hiding out now in a building. It's like a bar or something they're hiding out in, and he gives her gun back because he realizes that she must know how to use it, so he's not as scared for her to have one at this point. And he kind of teaches her a bit, and he's like, where did you learn to do that? And she's like, in Federal School. And he goes, oh yeah, that explains it, because she's holding it kind of weird. So he shows her to grip it tightly with both hands so nobody can take it from her, grab it and take it from her. And that's kind of a short scene, and Joel says that we're going to go to that tall building as soon as there's no more trucks. So they're going to go to a tall building for some reason. I guess he feels it's safer. We flash back to the bad guys, who I'm going to call the bad guys, Melanie Linsky's crew. And are they bad guys? Maybe not, because nobody's really bad at this point, I guess. There's no real bad guys.
Resistance fighters.
It's all gray area at this point.
Clearly, they just overthrew Fedra.
Yeah, they overthrew Fedra, took over Kansas City. Even they say that in the post-episode stuff.
Fireflies or Resistance.
They're not Fireflies, I don't think. I think they're just their own people, and they're just kind of ruling over Kansas City with a iron fist.
Got tired of the just overthrew the regime.
Yeah, well, obviously she has some. The leader, Melanie Linsky, has some stuff against them because they killed her brother and things like that. And they're fascist, basically. It's a fascist regime that Fedra is ultimately. So they go to this house, and they go in this attic, and they find that the Henry that they're looking for was there, and there's a bunch of kids drawings, so we know Henry has a kid. And she says that Henry's out of food and that he won't let Sam starve. So obviously there's a kid named Sam, which this is right from the game. Henry and Sam are right out of the game.
Is it?
So yeah, they're right out of the game, and they're hiding out from these people in Pittsburgh in the game. So then she's called down by her right hand man, who is the guy who played the voice of Tommy in the game. We saw that in the post credits. So he was the voice of Tommy in the game.
Yeah, I really like how they're using the people from the game.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, that they modeled and
it's
voiced.
Good. Yeah, so this guy
what's her name from first episode?
Marlene. Yeah, she was in the game. He was actually the one. Yeah,
the model. Yeah.
Yeah. So Tommy's voice actor is an actor. He's like this big bearded guy carrying a machine gun. So he takes her down in the basement and says, you got to see this. Opens up this storage room. There's this like depression in the ground, and something's moving underneath it, and that kind of freaks him out. And she's like, no, we can't deal with this right now. And he's kind of like, why not? We need to deal with this. And she's like, no, don't tell anybody. We'll deal with it later. That's definitely coming back. That's like Chekhov's gun for sure.
Yeah.
So after that, they leave that building, and we jump back to Joel and Ellie. They're in the tall building now, and they need to make it up the stairs. Just a spiraling staircase. Like, I think Joel says it's 45 45 stories.
Yeah.
And Ellie's like, are you going to make it all the way up there? And he's like, we're going to make it as far as I can.
Yeah.
And they get to a floor at some point, and that's as far as he can make it, apparently. And I think she might have said 33 or 23. I don't know which one she said.
I didn't catch what she said.
I didn't catch what she said, but they get up there and they go into that floor, and they go into a room, and Joel sets up some glass on the floor, and this is where they plan to sleep that night, essentially. And Ellie's like, what are you doing, Joel? And he's like, I'm doing this so I can hear people. If I don't want anybody to sneak up on us in our sleep. And she said, oh, okay, because she didn't understand what he was doing. She understood it now. So they lay down, they put some cushions out and lay down, and Ellie tells another bad joke. Yeah. And the joke is, did you know that diarrhea is genetic?
Hereditary.
It's hereditary. Yeah. And she goes, because it runs in your genes. And Joel can't help it. He loses it. He starts laughing and pretty hard. And this is kind of a nice little moment between Joel and Ellie. First time in a while.
There was a hint of him.
Yeah, he's
almost smiling when he was getting siphoned in the gas. She told that.
Yeah, that terrible joke.
Another terrible joke. And he was kind of like, But he had like a little bit of a smile. So she's breaking through that barrier a little bit.
Yeah, and she certainly is.
That just got him. Yeah. He might have been overly tired.
I think that's part of it. Yeah. You laugh at anything. It's like when you're drunk, you laugh at anything. Yeah. So they lay down. They're going to sleep. Joel does ask Ellie, like, hey, you said before that wasn't the first person you've hurt. Who did you hurt before? And Ellie closes off immediately on that. She says, I don't want to talk about it. And I think it's probably from the game, like from the DLC of the game and what's going on in that, but we won't get into that. But yeah, so they lay down, they go to sleep. And the next scene is Ellie yelling for Joel to wake up. And Joel wakes up to see Ellie with her hands up and being held up at gunpoint by a black man. And Joel looks straight ahead and finds like a 10-year-old kid holding a gun on him. And the episode, unfortunately, the red face paint. The episode, unfortunately, ends there on that cliffhanger. I know. Played the game. You don't have to worry about this. They're going to be fine. And the preview for next week clearly shows that. Yeah. So yeah, that's the episode. Yeah. It's a pretty quick episode, to be honest. It's pretty. It kind of jumps. That's why we've only been talking about it for 22 minutes. It'll be our shortest episode on this show so far. But yeah,
focused mainly on Joe and Ellie and their relationship.
Yeah, it definitely was a relationship builder.
You had to get that sometime.
Oh, we did have the one scene of Ellie climbing through a small grate to open a door. That happens all the time in the game. And I will say, this is the most gamey episode yet of the show, because that whole sequence where the guys try to fake the injury and all that's straight from the game. And that crash into the building and the shootout, straight from the game. More guys, ultimately, in the game.
Do you have an option to let the guy live and kill him?
No, yeah, that's all cut.
Oh, it's all cut.
You go straight past that.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Good episode.
It's all straight from the game in that part, though.
Yeah, good episode. I enjoyed it. I like the character building with Joel and Ellie,
Yeah. It's good character building.
First episode, we haven't seen an infected.
Yeah, no infected. Just a hint.
Hint, yeah.
Like you said. Yeah.
Of a big one. And in the preview for next week, we get the big one in the preview. I'm not going to talk about that. But, yeah, preview for next week promises another action-y episode for sure. Yep.
So, yeah. So that is the episode. And I thought it was a terrific episode. It's, a return back to what we expect. We didn't have a side story this time, which the side story was fine. I liked it. You were more mediocre on it. But this episode is more what we want out of this show is following the story of Joel and Ellie and seeing how they get, where they're going, how they're commiserating and all that stuff. So it was fun seeing Ellie being real stupid a lot with these jokes. Just so stupid. The jokes are so bad. And, of course, Pedro Pascal, the internet's daddy, knows one of the jokes. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's really making you feel for both of these characters, pulling for them, finally,
For sure, yeah.
Because, I mean, before it was just kind of like a job.
Yeah.
Just get through the job.
Yeah.
Don't care.
Yeah.
But now you're really starting to worry for these characters.
He's got his next person to protect. Ellie is going to be the person he wants to protect and has to protect, and it's working out good. Yeah.
Hopefully he doesn't fail.
Yeah. I hope so.
So.
All right. So next weekend is the Super Bowl on Sunday. So
Yeah.
there will be an episode. So I don't know how we're gonna do that. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't have any plans.
I don't know if we got any plans. I don't think we have any plans
I don't have
yet.
any plans. So
that could change on Saturday.
yeah, that could change like any day. Sunday at 4 p.m.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll be back though. Probably Monday, maybe Monday, could be Sunday. We'll see.
Yeah.
But if you're around, definitely follow us. Check us out on basementmovieroom.com. That'll get you the YouTube channel.
Yep. Go Chiefs.
Yeah. That's right.
City
Kansas
episode.
City, right there.
Go Chiefs. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's gonna be Kansas City next episode too.
I'm
after the
a
Super
Bears
Bowl.
fan though. So
Yeah, well, yeah, we can't all be perfect.
I know.
I don't even watch the NFL really,
tough.
so you know. But yeah, so we'll be back. If it's not Sunday, it'll be Monday. Again, thanks for watching Basement Movie Room. Follow us on twitch.tv/Basement Movie Room. BasementMovieRoom.com will get you the YouTube channel. And, you know, find us on Patreon at patreon.com and search Basement Movie Room because I don't know the link right off the top of my head. And you can also catch us if you're listening to us on the podcast. Definitely check out our YouTube. If you're listening to us on the podcast, I appreciate that. And if you're not, you can find us on any of your favorite podcast apps, Basement Movie Room. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Until next time. Cheers.